the Chicago fire world is a world you know very well, but what
Mhm.
was it like your first day coming back on set this time after having such an extended hiatus from the show?
Uh-huh. I have to turn around and tell you there were tears. There were tears when I came. There was tears when I was leaving again too. But everybody was so happy and so welcoming. Um, it felt like I'd never been away. In actual fact, it felt like I hadn't been away for a day. Is what it felt like. It was seeing my family, my extended family. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, and it's a very unusual episode, it sounds like, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
What can you share about the filming of this episode and what brings Bowden back into the Chicago fire world?
What brings Boden back? He has to investigate his own firehouse, his old firehouse, his old favorite firehouse. And so you know how much he loves everybody within that house. But a mistake was made. Somebody was left behind in a fire, and they're potentially going to die by the end of the episode. And so he's had to come straight away to get on top of the problem and investigate what happened and find out whose fault it was, because a head may have to roll. So that's what brings him back.
And it's an interesting thing because, he does know these people arguably better than almost anyone else. How much is
Yeah.
he utilizing his specific knowledge of everyone to maybe play at their figurative weaknesses and strengths in this investigation?
All of that comes into play, but because the situation is so immediate, your history as a human being is not really relevant at this moment. What's really relevant is what did you do in the last couple of hours that has put this situation in such a heightened state. And so he's got to investigate. He's got to find out. Your history isn't going to tell him what happened. He needs to know exactly what happened, when it happened, who was before you, who was after you, what the numbers were. And so he can piece it all together and then go back and report to well, there's only one person above him now, and that's the commissioner. So yes, it's a terrible place to be in. He does know and love these people, but you know Bowden like I know Bowden. He will always do his job first.
Absolutely. Well, and it's something where these people also love him. What is their take on him having to be the one to deal with this?
Well, we play that in some of the scenes, and some people wanting him to be the the relationship they had before he left. But when he left, he was a deputy district chief. What he's come back as is deputy commissioner, and he's come back in a heightened moment. So none of the stuff that went before is relevant. And so because of that, this episode is out with all of your normal watching of Chicago Fire. It's much more like a movie than you've ever kind of, well, we often do that sometimes, kind of be like a movie, but the way it's shot, the new techniques that we use to film this to heighten it, because of those relationships and the depth of them. I think you're going to really enjoy this episode because when people are trying to pull an old relationship out, Bowden's job is to go, you're going to have to put that away and deal with what's in front of you. And for some people, that's easier than others.
Well, and it has been so long since we've seen Bowden. Are we getting any kind of catch up for what's been going on in his personal life since we last saw him, or is it strictly just business?
This particular episode is all about what just happened, and that was leaving a man behind in the fire. So you haven't got time to catch up. You're dealing with the potential loss of another firefighter, which could happen by the end of the episode. So that's where we're at.
One of the new wild cards in theory is Pascal, who obviously has Bowden's old job. What
Uh,
can you tease about that dynamic and what it was like filming those scenes with him and kind of having to have, I imagine, a little bit of tension there?
well, Dermot and I, we had a great time working with each other. I don't know if Bowden Pascal will say the same thing. But I've been an admirer of his work for a long, long time, so I was looking forward to working with him. And but I can turn around and tell you that the tension wasn't only between those two, because of the height situation. Everybody gets to a point of going, "Oh my God, this could be my last day of firefighting." unless um, the truth is found out. And so for some people, they don't even know what happened. And their life and their career is in Bowden's hands. And so that's why I'm saying to you, it's out of all of your normal episodes. Um, it's up against the edge, and because of that, it lends to a certain amount of excitement of while watching it and the new way of shooting it, and being with this relationship that you think you know how it's going to go, but it isn't going that way because the situation doesn't allow it to. It lends to its own level of tension with everyone.
It sounds like the episode might again being shot in a different way. So if so, what was that process like for you, especially because you do know this world so well, to kind of come back in to a different kind of filming process?
Well, Reza, our resident director producer, when he's talking about it and being as excited as he was when coming up with some of the ideas about filming, you can't help but go, "Oh my God, we've never done that before," and just get excited. Uh, uh, and I'm not going to give any of the tricks away for for some of the stuff, but I have to turn around and say I was excited for the whole filming period. Every day was a new day, and we were supporting each other, even though we'd never done certain stuff before. We were like, oh, I'm excited for the fans to see it and feel it. I think they're going to get a movie-esque type episode.
Well, that's very, very exciting. You know, now that you had a little bit of time away and B, the chance to return for this episode, what do you find you missed the most about Chicago Fire?
People, it's my family, it's my extended family. It's just as simple as that. I have people I know and love who were in my life for all of those years, and I miss them terribly. And so going back and working with them was one of my biggest joys. I cannot tell you. The tears were there in the beginning and they were there at the end.
Well, and obviously not every single person is in every single episode. Did you get to work with all of your quote unquote regular castmates in this episode, or is there someone that you didn't get the chance to work with that you're hoping to get to work with next time you come back to visit?
Well, because of the nature of the family, I'm Bowden deals with all of the people who are in charge. If you're an officer, you're going to be dealing with Bowden in this episode because you have a responsibility, and so therefore your head is possibly on the block. Um, the regular firefighters, I didn't see them in the episode, but I saw them in life. Because there's no way that I'm going to cover being in Chicago and then not turn up to the set. So, as I say, the family was all encompassing, and it was very, very happy for my soul and my spirit.
You know, now that you had the chance to come back, are you already talking to the writers about, okay, when can I come back again to visit these people? Feeling a little bit more comfort.
Okay, as we always say, once a part of the Chicago Fire family, they're always a part of the Chicago Fire family. So if they write it, I'll come. You know what I mean? But yeah, it didn't feel like I'd been away for a minute.